Привет. Since I'm running out of Russian, I do hope that you accept if I speak in English. Today I would like to talk a little bit about how you can use content and services to actually differentiate mobile computing devices. Want to explain our approach, how we see the world, distinguish two levels of differentiation, and explain what type of what we as Qualcomm can do in order to support you to drive this type of differentiation. So, over the past couple of years, we have seen a very tremendous development how communication devices, starting with very simple voice-centric phones, have evolved over time and now transitioned into what we call smartphone 2.0. Over time, latest technologies have dramatically improved both the ability and speed to process and transfer data in any way you can imagine. Interestingly, we call this smartphone 2.0 still a phone, although large portion of how we actually use it is not related to communication anymore. My colleague has just mentioned that in nowadays you use your smartphone for almost everything, which is far beyond, going beyond just communication. I can give you a few data points on this one. Interestingly, 2/3 of all users even sleep with a phone, like next to the bed. And first thing in the morning, even before looking to the partner lying next to them, they are having a look on the smartphone and check whether they've received any message or what's going on in the world. Per day, in average, people look at least 150 times on their smartphones to interact in any way you can imagine. Even half of smartphone users use their smartphone while they are watching TV. So I think the main message here is that smartphones nowadays really provide access to experiences. So I wouldn't call them necessarily a phone. Of course, many discussions are around what type of specs do we need, but for the end user it's really kind of gateway or access point towards user experience. And I think this is really quite important to understand. Quite a few manufacturers have already realized that you can use content and apps or content and services which are providing user experience as a means in order to differentiate. And I would consider this as a first level of differentiation. We do see a couple of examples in the market how different manufacturers have used content and services, have selected different categories and just preloaded them onto the devices to provide a tangible value add to the end user and drive differentiation and stand out in the crowded device landscape. Many phones today are powered by Snapdragon. If you have not yet heard of Snapdragon, you'll hear about Snapdragon today because this is our chipset. We are a chipset company working with more than 85 device manufacturers. We already have more than 850 devices out in the market running on a Snapdragon chipset. We do have a very strong pipeline and not only supply smartphones with our chipset, but also tablets, dongles, and quite a broad range of other devices you can imagine. Snapdragon is basically a powerhouse for mobile computing devices. I think this is quite important because it's kind of an enabler which is enabling a superior user experience. We do not only provide the chipset itself, but in the end a quite comprehensive solution which is going far beyond just the hardware, but it also includes software, services and tools. Today I want to talk a little bit about at least two selected software tools because they are kind of enabler for a second level of differentiation. I want to focus sorry, on Vuforia and Alljohn in this context. So, Alljohn is a proximity-based peer-to-peer interaction technology. This basically means that you can seamlessly connect proximal devices. Just imagine you are at a conference like this, you're at the airport, you're at Starbucks or elsewhere, where you usually have Wi-Fi, and you have many devices like next to each other that you cannot connect. So Alljohn is a solution here. Alljohn allows you to connect different devices coming from different manufacturers, eventually even running on different operating systems, and allow you to enjoy a seamless experience in this context. We can distinguish three basic use cases how you can use Alljohn. It's in order to enable multiplayer mode, so that people can jointly play a game over Wi-Fi, can share content or enjoy multi-screen experience. One example, Russian example, is Evi. Evi has deployed Alljohn for its business card reader. So you can, at a conference like this, for example, you can just use this business card reader, scan your business card, and electronically exchange the business cards. Third typical use case is what we call social collaboration, so that you can jointly work on PowerPoint presentations, for example, or just share music lists and jointly listen to the same type of music. I have a very brief video just to show you what Alljohn really means, how developers are actually using this SDK, which we provide free of charge, which is supporting different operating systems, such as Android, iOS, Windows RT, Linux, Windows PC7 and others, just in order to provide a new type of functionality. So probably we can even increase the volume a little bit. It's quite late today. We think it's quite engaging. Besides, it's even offloading some data traffic from the cellular networks, and just allows a second level of differentiation, which is going beyond the pure selection of very nice content and service offerings. Second type of technology which we provide to developers in order to come up with a superior user experience is Vuforia. Vuforia is our mobile solution for augmented reality. And the principle of augmented reality is quite simple. You have a real-world view which you capture with your camera, and by using an by using a Vuforia app or augmented reality app, you simply add some virtual content to this real-world view in order to get an augmented reality experience. Once again, this is software technology which we provide to developers up to a certain threshold free of charge. It's supporting various operating systems such as Android, iOS, and others. And it's just enabling a new type of functionality or a new type of user experience in this case. We distinguish, once again, 3 different typical use cases here in this context. One is obviously about playing and gaming. So here in Russia, I don't know if you've been to McDonald's just before the last European Football Championships. You were able to get a Euphoria app. It was actually a penalty game. And once you had bought your burger, you were able to use this burger box as a marker and just play this penalty game. It was kind of engaging, kind of fun. For McDonald's, it was having customers staying longer in the restaurant, eventually ordering a second cup of coffee or ordering any other type of food or drinks you can get there. It's kind of engaging and just fun. So I think there are quite a few positive aspects. Another one is marketing. So you can really engage customers by this. We do have a few examples, like Viking, for example, the shoe maker. They have published augmented reality advertisement just in a printed magazine, and they've accomplished 30% sales increase over the next 4 weeks after publication, because end users were able just to play around a little bit, and you can even use it for educational purposes. In this case, you see just a phone, and the Euphoria app is like manual, visual manual, which is basically explaining the different components and functions. We're actually working with a carrier in another Eastern European country to have a Euphoria app to explain smartphones, for example, or other carriers in Western Europe are actually developing Euphoria apps to explain LTE to households, and just to make this brochure much more engaging. I think that are quite nice examples, and I do have a very short video on this one as well, which I would like to show you.
not yet done. I still have one more or two more slides. So just to sum it up, we do see a couple of trends. End users become much more demanding. They are quite used to having their smartphone.
3G penetration in Russia, if I'm not mistaken, is like 30%, more or less, and it's really rapidly increasing. So people get used to this powerful type of device and are just expecting more. Developers have the chance just to take advantage of available SDKs, which we provide free of charge, to come up with this type of user experience. And carriers, OEMs can, for example, preload those apps, can use this content and these services just to further differentiate the device. And this is what we want to support. This is why we have developed a quite comprehensive approach to support, in the first instance, developers in actually getting aware of those technologies, familiarizing with these technologies, deploying those technologies in order to come up with apps that are providing this type of superior user experience. And we are also happy to connect them with manufacturers that are interested in driving differentiation by preloading superior content and services. So thanks a lot for your attention, and I'm happy to hand over to Sergey from Microsoft, who can definitely share probably his insights on differentiation and also address other topics. So please give a warm welcome to Sergey.